Hey guys, first regardsman here, and today we'll be talking about a Power Axe Bulwark build for patch 11.0 of Space Marine 2 using the Shield Bash as a primary melee weapon. Now, the Block Axe that did get buffed this patch, it already had the best scaling of any weapon in Space Marine 2 for the Shield Bash, so Concussive Force giving you 200% more damage on top of 100% bonus Shield Rush damage is even better for this build, and we do take the other Shield Bash perks like Merciless Resolve and Forward Momentum for a 45% additive bonus, on top of the Overcharge perk down here for bonus damage on our Power Wave, because the Power Axe actually has access to Power Wave on the block version now. They've also moved around the perk tree a bit, so you can take access to things like Power Wave and Tactical Retreat simultaneously. Now, I know in a previous video I said that Overcharge is not working for the Power Wave. That's just a bug with the testing arena. It is actually working. Like, this perk will affect the Power Wave and the Whirlwind Slash, so you can actually do even more damage with this build. And to be honest, the Block Power Axe is like one of the strongest weapons in Space Marine 2 currently. It might be power crept a little bit by the Block Power Fist, but this one is 10 times more fun in my opinion than the Block Power Fist is. So we're building around this today. Now for the perk tree, I just go all the way down the bottom row here because we're taking all damage perks. The main thing in this build is using our Shield Bash, so like we're really just building for damage. The actual axe portion doesn't matter too much for like the proper hits. Like, Discharge is nice to have for overhead strikes and stuff like that, but overall the main reason we take this weapon is because our Shield Bash will do stupid amounts of damage. It is kind of cheesy, it is kind of insanely damaging, it is a little overpowered in some ways, but it does have like a little bit of a higher skill cap than say like Invigorating Icon, so there is that. Now for the secondary here, I'm also picking a heretical weapon with the Heroic Heavy Bolt Pistol. This thing's ammo economy is not great, but to be honest, the perk here, No Help is Coming, shooting an enemy with a lead scream status stops for calling reinforcements, headshots kill in one shot. This saves you quite a bit of ammo because when you shoot a reinforcement calling enemy on absolute difficulty and you interrupt their call, they will usually go in rage immediately, which means you're wasting more ammo. But if you one-shot them, well, that's a lot of saved ammunition in this game. Basically, one-shotting any warrior or like Majoris and stuff like that is just really useful, and to be honest, this weapon kind of hits like a truck, and on top of that, it has the highest gun strike damage in the game currently of all heavy bolt pistol options. It's like a 6% damage increase, so it's not like super substantial, but it's like a nice little addition to that. And for the perk tree, I just build it this way, all the way down the perk row with things like Death Strike, moving up here into the perk Discipline for 25% more damage on low ammo, moving down to the perk Headhunter, and finally picking up Tactical Precision for 20% more headshot damage. Now, if you're playing on Assault or the Vanguard class, I will go down the bottom row for Able Damage instead, because using a class ability happens all the time on them. We have a giant Bulwark banner, so we don't do that as often. Now, for the perk tree, I do pick up for Momentum first. After using a Shield Bash, Shield Rush, or Thunderhammer Pommel Smash, melee damage increases by 30% for 10 seconds. Then move here into the perk Scramble Targeting. If you're surrounded by 5 or more enemies, you take 25% less damage from ranged attacks. Moving up into the perk Feel Within. When your health is less than 50%, you take 30% less health damage. Now, having either this perk or Conviction on the Bulwark class makes you way tankier than you would be otherwise. Even though you have a base starting HP of 30% increased, this is not as good on its own as it is with a damage reduction perk, because the damage reduction is really strong in Space Marine 2. Maybe not as strong as healing, but to be honest, even in some cases it can be better because it prevents you from dying from stun locks. So either picking up this perk or the perk over here, Conviction, is pretty damn good. If you want to go like all the way with this build, just take like Armor Reinforcement on top of Conviction instead and just skip over for Momentum, you could, but to be honest, we're going for maximum damage on our Shield Bash, so this one's kind of a no-brainer. Next perk here is Focus Restoration. Every 30 seconds, all of your squad members automatically restore one armor segment. Armor restores in Space Marine 2 are just a free damage reduction. This one affects our whole team, so pretty nice for that. Though Advanced Conditioning is also pretty damn good. Next perk here is Purity of Purpose. The banner deals damage over time to enemies with area of effect. This perk is incredible. It basically puts down a shock nade around your banner, wipes out Minoris, does significant damage to Extremis, Majoris, and even Terminus, and is by far the best perk in this column, in my opinion. And even Focus Strength, the Shield Bash knocks back enemies and makes them lose control for a longer period of time. This perk does barely anything notable. Like, this is just not a very good perk in this game, to be honest. Like, the knockback effect is not that amazing, and this perk is way better for value. Next perk here is, of course, Concussive Force. Shield Bash deals 200% more damage. Shield Rush deals 100% more damage. Those are like the most notable effects on this one. This is a Shield Bash build, so kind of a no-brainer to pick this one up. I would say this is mandatory for this build because, you know, we're trying to punch people in the face with our shield, And the best way to use this perk with your shield bash is to animation cancel over and over into your bash. I have like a little video link on how to do that, like the little info card up here. But either way, it's just a really strong perk because Shield Rush also does a ton of damage. Next perk here is Merciless Resolve. After a Shield Bash, Shield Rush, or Thunder Hero Pommel Smash, melee damage increases by 15%, and you don't lose control from taking heavy hits and can't be knocked back for 10 seconds. This is the main form of no knockback that we have on this build. Without this, you will get knocked around all the time. I would pretty much always pick this up on like 99% of builds anyways, and we're also taking defensive mastery on top of this, so definitely pick this one up, because without armor advance, you will just be like whacked around occasionally. Now, this perk here says after a perfect time parry or block, you will instantly incapacitate a Majora's or Extremis level enemy. Incapacitate just means put them into execute, and the cooldown is 90 seconds. Now, removing an Extremis during a boss fight instantaneously is top tier in this game. That's like one of the hardest things of a boss fight in general, is getting like combo locked or stun locked by a frame trap and stuff like that. So being able to remove a Lictor, a Ravener, or a Terminator and stuff like that is just very useful for us. And now for the Prestige perk tree, I do take Resilience for 40% more HP from Sims and Overcharge for the reasons I previously mentioned. Then I pick up Powerful Shot for a range damage increase of 20%, and I finish off with Masterful Defense for a 1% CDR on every blocked range attack, because getting your banner back faster is just godly in this. That's pretty much all there is for this build, guys. This build really is one of the strongest builds for Bulwark in Space Marine 2. It has been since they buffed up the Shield Bash in patch 10. It's really no different in this one. In fact, it's even better. If you like, guys, first regards from here, I'll be talking about one of the most powerful builds in all of Space Marine 2 on the Bulwark class, and really for any class, which is the Block Power Fist. Yes, the fabled S-tier weapon of Space Marine 2. This thing is so powerful, it gets mentioned in official dev notes as being kind of absurd, and currently the damage cap in Space Marine 2 has been changed around a bit because they were like messing with the netcode cap on it. And this weapon, it hits like a truck. It one-shots Majoras. It one-shots Extremis with block charges. It will damn near one-shot certain bosses at times with like Auspexes. It is a ridiculously powerful weapon in Space Marine 2. And the animation canceling on top of this with the Bulwark class and his ridiculous amount of damage reduction with Steel Within and Conviction, on top of healing himself Invigorating Icon, this is probably the most noob-friendly build in the entire game, outside of like Fencing Armor Reinforcement with Intimidating Aura versus Tyranids. And this is like one of the easiest builds I've ever used to like clear any hard strat in the game pretty much. It's not like a broken Bulwark. Now, as far as the Power Fist perk setup goes here, I do pick up Perpetual Strength first. Moving here into the perk Heavy Preparation. Heavy attack preparation time is reduced by 30%. Applies to the following attacks: Thrust Jab, Back Fist, Hammer Hook, Back Fist 2, Thrust Jab 2. This perk is really useful because heavy attacks are literally all that matter on the Block Fist. The 1+ speed here does not matter at all for the charge rate of your heavy attacks. Thrust Jab will charge the same rate with like 1 or 10 speed, but this perk does affect it, so definitely pick this one up. Next perk here is Perpetual Strength, moving up here into the exact same perk for a 10% melee damage increase. Then I pick up the perk over here, Focused Intention. When your health is below 30%, you take 50% less health damage while preparing heavy attacks. When you combine this perk for a 50% health damage reduction on top of Conviction for a 25% health damage reduction on Armor Break, on top of Steel Within for a 30% health damage reduction at less than 50% HP, you will just not die when you are charging your fist. It doesn't even matter if they're all enraged and shooting at you. The likelihood of death is near zero. It is ridiculous how tanky you actually are at a low HP value with the Power Fist charging up with Focus Intention on a Bulwark like this, and that's one of the reasons this weapon is so damn powerful. Next perk here is Tide of Battle. Power Wave forward distance increases from 4 to 8. This perk is actually incorrect. What this perk does is take your power wave distance from 10 to 20 meters. That is why the charge attack of this weapon goes so damn far. And if you take this perk on top of the perk Following Blow, Back Fist and Back Fist 2 can be performed instantly after a Thrust Jab or Hammer Hook, you can pick up a lot of breakpoints for executes. Like a lot of the time you'll like do like one charge on your Block Fist for the Thrust Jab and immediately have to do another following attack for that execute, and this allows you to do that. So a really good combo here. I also grab the perk down here, Strength of Will. While performing a heavy attack, you take 20% less range damage, just like a nice little bit of extra damage reduction on top of Focus Intention. And then we grab the perk here, Combo, which is really not that good at all for us, but we need this to pick up the next perk, Majora's Slayer. Melee damage against Majora's level enemies increases by 10%. Yeah, it's just kind of a no-brainer. Just pick this one up because Majoras are so plentiful in Space Marine 2. Now, for the secondary here, we do take the Rate of Fire Plasma Pistol. This one is just really nice for staggering enemies you otherwise could not, and having this is really nice for CHP recovery. damage, and also just being able to stagger any enemy that's like flying around you or terminators, stuff like that, like I mentioned before. And the rate of fire on the plasma is so damn fast. It's like the fastest firing weapon of like any plasma incinerator in the game, and really, really good to get those charge shots off very quickly. Now, the only thing that kind of sucks in this weapon is the ammo economy, which is why we build all the ammo perks up here, and also pick up things like Divine Might for 10% bonus damage. I really do think this is like just the best way to build a plasma pistol in Space Marine 2. The bottom tree is pretty nice at times, but like the unfortunate thing about this is that this weapon is so damn ammo hungry that not taking the top tree is like really, really going to make you suffer at times, even with ammo regen. But that is up to you. Now for the perk tree here, we do just go all tank on this build. We start off with Conviction here. When your armor is fully depleted, you take 25% less health damage for 10 seconds. This perk stacked to the perk here, Steel Within, for another 30% health damage reduction, makes you ridiculously tanky, because a Bulwark, this class, already has a starting perk health of 30% increase. That is already really good on its own. When you stack damage reduction on top of that, you will just get knocked around by like triple bosses in siege mode and not die. This perk is very noob friendly, and this class in general is very noob friendly. That just lets you survive things you would otherwise be unable to. Now, Intimidating Aura is also a very powerful effect here. A perfect time parry does area effect damage in a 5-meter radius. Cooldown is 5 seconds. If you are a bit more of a confident player in this game, and you do want to have like a little bit of free damage on certain enemies, like pick up some free executes, this one is very powerful with any block weapon, but like for this build, full damage reduction is very nice, especially in like hard siege. Next perk here is Scramble Targeting for even more damage reduction from range attacks that are surrounded by 5 or more enemies. Then we pick up the perk here, Steel Within, for even more damage reduction, and then we grab the perk here, Focus Intention. Every 30 seconds, all of your squad members automatically restore 1 armor segment. This perk is just more free damage reduction. The way that armor works in Space Marine 2 is that any amount of armor remaining will reduce any incoming melee hit to 0 damage. It also has some damage caps versus range attacks, but like versus melee especially, this will just save your life. Focus Restoration is really nice for granting armor restore to classes that don't have them, because one of the things that like actually kills you in Space Marine 2 is you get knocked over by one enemy and then another melee enemy comes in and whacks you, and this will help you survive that initial hit. Now, Advanced Conditioning is also very strong for having more contested health, or I should say it makes it easier to recover your contested health, and Effective Formation is pretty decent, but I do think Focus Restoration here is just better for our build. Next perk here is Purity of Purpose. The banner deals damage over time to enemies within its area of effect. This perk basically just puts down a shock nade effect at your location. It will wipe out Minoras, wipe out Majoris at times. It almost hundreds to zeros a Tyranid Warrior just from like the start to finish of Glory's Shield. This thing is a very strong perk. I also think it wipes out Bramble these days in patch 11.0 on top of all of that, and is by far the best perk in this column in my opinion, or like really, really good banner value. Next perk here is, of course, the fabled Invigorating Icon. When the banner is activated, all of your squad members regain maximum contested health, but it recharges 50% slower. This perk is incredible. The amount of HP you print with this perk is honestly godforsaken OP. Like, this perk is mathematically OP. The amount of value this perk actually generates is fucking ridiculous in Space Marine 2. But it is what it is. This perk is top tier. We are building for one of the strongest builds we possibly can on the Power Fist, and Invigorating Icon is just a god tier perk. So definitely pick this up, and it's also very easy to use. Next perk here is Merciless Resolve. After a Shield Bash, Shield Rush, or Thunderhammer Pommel Smash, melee damage increases by 15%, and you don't lose control from heavy hits and can't be knocked back for 10 seconds. Now, this perk is very nice to have. A 15% damage increase is really cool for our Block Fist here, but the main thing we want this for is no knockback, because you don't actually have to hit anything through Shield Bash or Shield Rush to trigger this. All you have to do is just Shield Bash the air, so make sure to trigger this like every single 10 seconds, but do keep in mind that you cannot reapply this perk until the 10 seconds are up. So like, if the 10 seconds are ongoing, you can't do anything, you just have to wait, so just keep that in mind. If you don't want to take this perk, if you want Rejuvenating Effect to like revive your squad mates instead, I would pick up Armored Advance instead to make sure you have some kind of no knockback, because no knockback in Space Marine 2 really is that important. And the way that no knockback in Space Marine 2 works is that any attack that would knock you off your feet will no longer knock you off your feet, it will only stagger you, and any attack that would stagger you will only do nothing. will only do nothing. Yeah, you heard me. So like basically it just reduces them like a tier, so pretty good for that. Next perk here is Defensive Mastery that I took for this build. A perfect time parry or block instantly incapacitates a Majora's or Extremis level enemy. Cooldown is 90 seconds. This one may not seem that good initially, but being able to wipe out an Extremis in like one perfect parry is really damn powerful in this game. The thing that actually kills you in most boss spawns is going to be an Extremis like trying to fuck your face at the same time as the boss trying to knock you over. So if you're able to instantaneously kill a Ravener or a Lictor off a single parry and just remove them from the equation entirely in a hard strat, that will save your life at times. A 90-second cooldown is a pretty long time, but like the fact that it just makes the entire encounter go like a breeze, really, really good perk here, so I would pick this up. But again, if you want to skip over this and take the perk here, Armored Advance or even Emergency Countermeasure, you definitely could. Now, for the Prestige perks here, you have a few options. Auxiliary Reload will give you ammunition back on every single Extremis kill. I don't think this perk matters too much in a team scenario. If you're playing by yourself, I would definitely pick this up. You know, the Plasma Pistol is pretty ammo hungry, so like having this even in a team isn't a bad idea at all. If you are playing Siege mode, definitely grab this perk because Extremis are goddamn everywhere. But instead of this perk, I did take Resilience on this build here. Medicaid Stims for 40% more health. This just makes your stims more valuable, and like this on top of Invigorating Icon, on top of all your damage reduction, means that like any stim you find is just going to give you so much effective HP that like you'll just never die. So a really, really good option. Next perk here is Overcharge. Held and charge attack damage increases by 20%. This perk is incredible. Being able to do tremendous damage to enemies off of a single charge attack is top tier in Space Marine 2. This is a multiplicative damage increase to your thrust jab, which is really insane. This perk is also now functioning on the Assault class as well as the Bulwark, because previously it was broken in patch 10, but you know, Bulwark privileges that this perk has always worked for him on every weapon it's effective on, and it's no different here, so definitely grab this. Pretty much a mandatory perk for the Block Fist in my opinion. Next perk here is Powerful Shot. Range damage increases by 20%. This is just nice to have to like pick up some extra range kills, especially versus like stronger enemies like Terminators and stuff like that, or even like the Rubric Marine. So I do like to grab this one. If you don't like this one as much, you just want to take Auxiliary Reload or pick up Standard Bearer because this perk is pretty decent at times. You can definitely do that, but I just prefer this one. Next perk here is God Tier. Masterful Defense. Ability charge restored by 1% for every blocked range attack. I mean, CDR in any game like this is a top tier perk effect. This one is one of the best CDR reduction perks in the entire game. It is ridiculous how much you can get back off of a single banner block, or not banner block, like a shield block on a missile Terminator when they're shooting their Soul Reaper cannon. They'll pretty much get your entire banner back multiple times over versus Chaos with this perk. Definitely pick it up. It's even good versus Tyrannid Devourers and stuff like that, but like overall it is more effective versus Chaos than the Tyrannids because they just shoot more range at you. But like, you know, any type of CDR, even if it's like 20% off your banner, that is really good, especially with Invigorating Icon giving you a 50% slower cooldown. Hey guys, first regardsman here, and I'll be talking about a heroic Power Fist build for the Bulwark class in patch 11.0 Space Marine 2 to trivialize Tyranids and have a pretty damn good time versus Chaos in operations and hard stratagem. Now, the Power Fist here is super underrated. Death's Grasp is the heroic version. The heroic perk effect is called Follow-Up Shot. Performing a finisher marks a nearby Majora's level or higher enemy for a gun strike. Light attack damage increases by a fat 200%, but charge attack damage decreases by 50%. Now, losing 50% charge attack damage may sound awful initially, but this decrease is only additive, which means that with things like Overcharge, you're not really losing a lot at all, and on top of that, the Fencing Power Fist here in the Relic tier has a 13 strength, this one has a 15 base strength, which means that your charge attacks are hitting like 135 for a level 1 charge attack. This one hits 160, and to put that in perspective, a Tyranid Warrior's HP is like 308, so you're really not losing a ton whatsoever. I think this is by far the best in slot option for a Fencing Power Fist in the game currently, and even though this one has a 9+ speed, this doesn't really do anything for us because it does not affect your charge rate whatsoever, and this one also just has way better light attack, so definitely the best Power Fist for fencing versions in my opinion. Now for the perk tree here, I do pick up Perpetual Strength first, moving here into the perk Heavy Preparation. Heavy attack preparation time is reduced by 30%, applies to the following attacks: Thrust Jab, Back Fist, Hammer Hook, Back Fist 2, Thrust Jab 2. This is still the best option in my opinion because the heavy attacks on this really aren't that bad at all, and the perk up here, Swift Recovery for double CHP recovery on your heavy attacks, is is pretty good, but on a Bulwark class, you do have Invigorating Icon, so honestly, who cares? Next perk here is Perpetual Strength for a 10% melee damage increase. Moving here into the perk Focus and Tension. When your health is below 30%, you take 50% less health damage while preparing heavy attacks. This one is still very powerful, even on the Death's Grasp Power Fist without lost damage on your heavy attacks. And the next one here is Tide of Battle. Power wave forward distance increases from 4 to 8 meters, applies to the following attacks: Thrust Jab, Back Fist, Hammer Hook, Back Fist 2, Thrust Jab 2. This is actually an incorrect description in this game. It takes your power wave forward distance from like 10 to 20 meters, which is why the Power Fist hits so damn far. I'm surprised they haven't nerfed this yet, but that's just the way it is in the game currently. And the next perk here is Following Blow. Back Fist and Back Fist 2 can be performed instantly after a charged Thrust Jab or Hammer Hook. This perk is definitely better on the Block Fist, but it's not too bad here. It does help out with stagger and picking up the occasional execute, so I do grab it for that. Next perk is Combo. After a successful heavy attack, the next light attack deals 10% more melee damage. This is just a free buff, but like, to be honest, this perk is not that good. We mainly pick it up here to go into the next perk over here with Majora's Slayer. Melee damage against Majora's level enemies increases by 10%, and then the final perk I grab here is Heavy Armament. Cannon Punch deals 50% more damage. The main reason I picked this one up is because usually you'll go from a Cannon Punch immediately into light attacks, and our light attacks do have a 200% damage buff, which do hit very hard in this game. Like, a 200% increase to your Power Fist hits with a base strength of 15 is pretty heavy hitting, so this is a pretty nice combo here. But if you want to skip over this perk and take like Strength of Will instead, you can definitely do that. But that's pretty much all there is for the Power Fist tree here. Now for the secondary here, I do take the Retribution's Bequest Heroic Heavy Bolt Pistol. This weapon currently has the highest per shot gunstrike damage in the entire game. The Plasma Pistol does have like an AoE gunstrike effect, but this one is overall higher on like a single enemy, which is why I prefer it here. And this weapon got a pretty fat buff from the public test server. The gunstrike damage is actually the worst in the entire game, at least for the heavy bolt pistol options. In the PTS, that is no longer the case, and also the heroic perk effect here did get buffed up. This one is called No Help Is Coming. Shooting an enemy with the Elite Scream status effect stops it from calling for reinforcements, and headshots kill in one shot. One of the biggest issues people have with this gun is that the magazine capacity and ammo reserves are kind of trash, but this perk does save you ammo because basically in Space Marine 2, if you were playing on absolute difficulty or hard stratagems and you stop an elite from calling for reinforcements, they will almost always go enraged, and that will cost you more ammo, on top of the fact that if you don't stop the reinforcement call, you may be fighting an entire horde. So being able to stop a horde and one-shot an enraged enemy effectively is going to save you a ton of ammo. I think that's kind of like their whole design philosophy about making this thing have a lower magazine capacity and ammo reserve option to begin with. It might be like a little excessive to have this thing be like a 48 ammo reserve versus like the 80 firepower version. Maybe they could buff that up, but it's still pretty good here. And if you're like really hurting for ammo, I would just go for like, you know, the ammo reserve option if you want that instead, because this one still has a pretty decent gun strike damage. Now for the perk tree, either way, I would set up this way. I go down here into Divine Might for a 10% damage increase, moving into the perk Perpetual Penetration, which isn't like super good. Usually you're not like lining up shots on this anyways. We do have to pick this one up to go into the perk that is pretty great with this gun. Increased capacity for a 20% increase in our ammo reserves because our ammo reserves do suck. And the next perk here is Extended Magazine, which also helps quite a bit. We move here into the most important perk, Death Strike. After killing a Majora's level or higher enemy in melee combat, you will deal 25% more damage for 10 seconds. Now, this perk's description doesn't tell you can also do an execute to trigger this perk, and really useful option here. You will always trigger this on a Bulwark anyways, and we get extra benefit from our executes with the follow-up shot mechanic regardless, so pretty nice synergy there. Next perk here is Great Might for 10% damage bonus against Terminus, moving up here into the perk Discipline. When you have low ammo, you deal 25% more damage. Well, this thing's ammo reserve sucks, so you trigger this all the time. Next perk here is Strong Finish. Last round of magazine deals 50% more damage. Moving here into the perk Headhunter and Gunstrike Reload, which is pretty nice because we Gunstrike all the time because we are a fencing build. And the final perk here is Tactical Precision. Headshots deal 20% more damage, and non-headshot damage decreases by 10%. This perk is pretty much top tier whenever bolt pistol is on, or really any bolt weapon in the game. Headshots simply matter more than body shots in pretty much all cases in this game, so definitely grab this. By far the most valuable option here. That's pretty much all there is for the secondary option. Now for the Bulwark perk tree, I do start off with one of the best perks in the entire game, Intimidating Aura. A perfect time parry deals area effect damage within a 5-meter radius. Cooldown is 5 seconds. This one with a fencing weapon especially generates so much damn value. You will basically one combo any single Majora's in the game. Really powerful option, but I will say if you want to take Conviction instead for 25% health damage reduction per seconds on armor break. This will save your life and make you significantly tankier, especially with your base HP increase of 30%. Having at least one of these perks does help out a ton. I would say like mainly versus Tyranids, you really don't need a perk like this, but if you're fighting Chaos, sometimes having this extra health damage reduction really does help. Next perk here is Scramble Targeting. If you're surrounded by 5 or more enemies, you take 25% less damage from ranged attacks. Moving here into the perk Armor Reinforcement. Non-finisher gun strikes restore 1 armor segment. This perk is already godlike with like any fencing weapon in the game, but with the heroic perk effect here, follow-up shot, you are getting even more gun strikes, and on top of that, our gun strikes hit like a truck with this weapon anyways, so a really good value here. And the way that armor works in Space Marine 2 is that any amount of armor remaining will reduce the next incoming melee hit to 0 damage even from bosses. If you get like that 1 armor back off a gun strike and a Karn effect slaps you in the face, you will take 0 HP damage, which is amazing. The next perk here is Advanced Conditioning. Contested health fades 50% more slowly for all of your squad members. This perk is very noob friendly. It really helps out people that don't understand how the CHP regen system in this game works, where like ranged weapons just have a stupid priority. And even for people that do, it just makes it way easier to pull off your CHP. Great perk for sure. Really forgiving, and so is the perk up here, Focus Restoration. Every 30 seconds, all of your squad members automatically restore 1 armor segment. This perk is also incredible, but like you really can't go wrong with either one of these, and even Effective Formation is pretty good. Next perk is Purity of Purpose. The banner deals damage over time to enemies in the area of effect. This perk is basically a shock grenade around your banner. It will do a tremendous amount of damage to Extremis, Majoris, and even bosses, and it will just wipe out Minoris like casually. It really is the best option in this column, and really honestly a pretty fun perk to use. And on top of that, it also clears out Bramble this patch, I believe, so even better than before. Next perk here is the Fabled Invigorating Icon. When the banner is activated, all of your squad members regain maximum contested health, but it recharges 50% slower. Printing HP in this game is god tier. This is like a top 2, if not top 1 perk in the entire game. I think the only perk competing for this one is honestly Secure Stockpile with like pure value generation. This one can basically up your margin for error by like 10, if not hundreds of times. It is incredible how good this perk is. If you want to take like Glorious Shield, you can also do that, but like this one is definitely better. Definitely pick this one up if you're like trying to have the easiest time possible. Next perk here is a Merciless Resolve. After a Shield Bash, Shield Rush, or Thunderhammer Pommel Smash, melee damage increases by 15%, and you don't lose control from heavy hits and can't be knocked back for 10 seconds. This is just a nice little melee damage buff for shield bashing the air. You don't actually have to hit anything through Shield Bash or Shield Rush to trigger this perk, and having no knockback for 10 seconds on top of that is pretty nice, especially if your armor's broken. Now, if you want to skip this perk and take the perk up here, Rejuvenating Effect, to get up your teammates, a lot of people do like this one. It's definitely a pretty good option. And the final perk I grab either way is Armored Advance. If you have armor remaining, you don't lose control from heavy hits, and you can't be knocked back. Now, the way that no knockback works in Space Marine 2 is that if you are to get hit by an attack that would take you off your feet, you will only be staggered. If you get hit by an attack that would stagger you, nothing happens instead. So the description's like a little bit confusing for people, but it's still a very powerful perk. It will prevent you from getting stun locked by things like Sword Warriors, and also just help you out by keeping you from being like perma-stunned by a Karn effect. So great perk. And the perk up here, Defensive Mastery, is also very good, but you'll have to basically trigger your Shield Bash here with Merciless Resolve over and over if you want no knockback on this option. So I would just take this if you want like an easier time. Now, for the prestige perks here, I do take Resilience first. Medicae Stims restore 40% more health. This just makes your pickups way more valuable. If you don't want to take this, you want to take like Auxiliary Reload, you could, but this one only gives you back 1 magazine versus an Extremis. And for us, that is like, what, like 7 or 8 shots, which is like not super good at all, which is why I do skip this on this weapon setup. But the next perk here, Overcharge, I would take pretty much no matter what. Held and charge attack damage increases by 20%. This is a multiplicative damage increase for your charge attacks, and even though we have a 50% reduced charge attack damage on this weapon, it still helps out a ton, so I'd still pick this up. Next perk here is Powerful Shot. Range damage increases by 20%, pretty self-explanatory. And the final perk is Masterful Defense. Ability charge restored by 1% for every blocked range attack. CDR perks are incredible in pretty much every horde shooter ever, and this is one of the best in this entire game. Being able to get a full banner basically off a single Soul Cannon Terminator is god tier. This is probably like a top 5, if not like top 2 perk in the entire prestige perk list for all classes. And really, just always pick this up if you have a shield build of any kind. You're not like using a Thunder Hammer, which does nothing. But that is pretty much everything I have to say about the Heroic Power Fist build here. This really is a very forgiving and very useful weapon. I think this one is super underrated, and if you're like a new player, this might be the best of the new heroic weapons for you, and really any fencing weapon with Intimidating Aura and Armor Reinforcement is going to be a very noob-friendly build. That's a good thing for this game, and hopefully this build guide helped you, and if you like content like this, subscribe for more, and as always, thank you for watching. Take it easy. Here's some gameplay. Bye.
Execute that one, lest they summon aid. Reload. Skittles the great Xenos. Stay alert. Execute fire.
Alright, your comments got me back into Space Marine 2. Thank you so much. No problem, dude. Space Marine 2 is my favorite game after all. You guys like my outfit, by the way? I was trying to go for like a white Templar look. It's not really lore accurate, but this is a hard stratagem. This thing just does a fuck ton of damage. We do have Combat Mastery active though, which is another multiplicative damage buff. So it's not 100% representative of what we should be having here, but the gun strike damage is the same. Because Combat Mastery, this stratagem here says melee or range damage increase with the bonus switching every 15 seconds. That's like a 15% multiplicative buff on top of your other stuff. That's pretty strong. Not bad drip, thank you. I honestly spend a dumb amount of time with my drift. Probably need to play this game though. There we go, look at that light attack damage.
You failed at ultra fireball.
Bonk. You're supposed to, FCG. Bro.
No foe may hide from his justice.
Where's the tree? And we have Icon right now, so we don't really care about taking the damage here that much. I mean, it's preferable not to, but... So if I can trigger this on this guy... Oh, I shot him in the face. Okay, well. Pride. Look at the light attack damage here. Now this is a Combat Mastery active. This would be just chunk him.
Glorious value strengthens our this rabbit no Xenos monstrosity may escape its weapon.
Last shot. Integral part of my day, FTG stream. Thank you, B-Chav. Alright, there we go. This is a heroic fist? Yes, it is. I'll be on 30 minutes, save a spot for me for the dailies, and we'll try again. Is there a new stratagem yet? That comes tomorrow. Yeah, they changed around the whole way they do these things now. For whatever reason. A frag grenade, ammo cache. Why change it around and give more people more time to complete the weekend? Yeah. Why I did it? Could have been like a bug too. You never know.
I have eyes on the guard camp. No sentries posted.
Reporting in. Team has arrived at the Imperial Guard encampment.
Talassa, you need to require the Astral Battalion Demolition Corps to fire the drone line and arm their ordnance. Source one from any soldier you see, alive or otherwise.
Bonk, bonk, bonk. Oh shit. Clearly a gun strike off of this if he doesn't die. Wait, that. Good.
Diligence, brothers. We will find those codes. Our banner awaits unfurled.
You cast Fist. Not a bad option. So let's look at this another gun strike here. You can really just farm these guys on the gun strikes. We'll have any execute too, not just a Mazors for hire. Is it worth having auxiliary ammunition on the Bulwark when equipped with a heroic heavy bolt pistol? I don't think so. I don't even think auxiliary ammunition is that good outside of siege mode anyways. If you're playing with teammates. It is. Right. Word for the thing. Is this a White Templar? It's a something Templar. I don't know if White Templars are actually a thing. I've heard people talk about them before though. It's really a lot more manageable in the weekly hard. Yeah, they are. Well, I mean the weekly hard's not that bad either, to be honest, this time, but this one's pretty easy. Maybe not for Vanguard.
This looks promising. Captain, codes retrieved.
Proceed to the Prometheum refinery and complete the demolition preparations.
Oh yes, they are a thing. Yeah. Yeah, Imperial Fisters. We're a White Templar, actually, Hypex.
Waste nothing, brothers.
Ooh, Sanctified Wrath Reliquary. We're gonna be playing more daily strats with viewers after this, but for now. What's up, the charge heavy attacks still do work? They do, actually. Because it's only an additive decrease you get. For that. God, Bulwark's just so damn strong. This might be the single safest build in the entire game currently. Very noob friendly. I hope in the future they add in Wolfspear cosmetics. They did have Wolfspear guy in the new Deathwash killers. That would be kind of neat. They exist. They were in a somewhat recent animated series, but they are also if you look at Sony's there, so I mean they're both more accurate, right? At this point, you retcon them, or whatever it may be. What's the worst strategy you've done? Optimal strategy overall. I mean, maybe a suboptimal state one, but like I don't think any of these are too bad. It's such a clusterfuck. Alright, this should be, yeah, feels right.
That silence intimidates my
What's the best equipment? Overall, melt the bomb. Shock grenades are really, really good too. I do sometimes like crack grenades if you have them for things like sorcerers and stuff, but besides that, not really. You know, on YouTube, decided to follow you here. Love your build for the heroic heavy bolter. Thank you, Hellbilly. The heroic heavy bolter is pretty damn good in this game. Feel like that. There we go.
reload.
Oh, it's so satisfying.
Fresh magazine.
Alright, it should give us in the gun strike, bang. I mean, if we did our little execute on him. Thanks, game. Fucking spore mine. So the neat thing about this build, so we can run over here and we can probably get an execute on the zone. No, we'll go in on him. Okay, so we'll shoot this guy. This will give us a gun strike on the zone through. You actually save a bit of ammo, which is nice. Or actually, there's a cooldown on it. Hold on. Well, that's one way to do it. This should give us one. It is a 15-meter radius, so you actually trigger this. We're a little bit out of it. Okay, well that was not optimal performance or showcase of that, but you can get a gun strike on them. Hi, I want to jump into this game. Any benefit to buy a Season 2 pass? Only if you like the cosmetics. It's only cosmetics on that. Is the Block Axe better for Vanguard than what? Chain Sword? I think so. Yeah, Block Axe is an S tier weapon currently. He does have Power Fist, so I would say so. Matter the Power Gladius. But Power Gladius is balanced, which can suck sometimes. Give me that gun strike. Combat mastery so good.
Fresh magazine.
I'm currently going to play some Vanguard because I'm on Prestige 3 with Heavy already. Vanguard is pretty damn good this patch. Not as good as he was in the PTS, but still good. Definitely a good class. This should give us a gun strike off the executor. Dang. Another one. Bet. Alright, I'm just gonna plant a banner here, I think. I might not need to. Oh, I might need to actually, yeah. Okay. That's a worthwhile banner, I think.
Behold, the supremacy of Ultra.
Dang.
We crush the ravenous brood.
X-axis aligned. Running on Messiah's will.
The first leg of this race is behind us. How tyranny march.
Such a good. That effect is so good. So much better than it might seem. Initially. Ow.
That silence continues.
Alright, there we go.
Deceptive beast.
What are we waiting for in the bomb deployment is my question.
Y-axis aligned. Margin of error 0.0 nanometers. Blessed be the Omnissiah's divine precision.
Progress is progress, brothers. We are almost there.
Are we almost there? Because it's really been here a while.
Inserting rounds.
Has a new weekly reset yet? No, it is not. It comes tomorrow.
Alien interval.
Look how much value you actually get out of that pistol. Pretty damn good. they ran in opposite direction. That one actually booked it. You guys see that shit?
There is an observation platform overlooking the Techmarine fields. It will make a good vantage for your ambush.
I haven't actually beamed it.
Our banner awaits some further. The weapon beast is destroyed.
What's up, FTG? I'm watching the stream while I'm at work. Thanks, fourth year Saiyan. Fourth year Saren. The Fist and Heavy Bolt Pistol are the only heroics I have left to go. Which one do I buy next? I think Heavy Bolt Pistol is really good. The Fist is very good. Fist is probably the most noob-friendly one of all of them. Brother Terry on your back is having a fun time watching the Slaughter Tree, dude. R-boost. Bet. Is a heroic heavy bolt pistol better than the plasma pistol? I think the plasma is better than the standard bolt pistol, but
Keep going forward.
it really depends, you know. I would put that one in S tier though. Personally. Only because it's good against everything. Except for like zones with. Okay, grab him.
Get us the grave.
There we go. Yo, did you have a nice stream? Thanks, John Wick. The John Wick in my chat.
Fresh magazine. We crush the ravenous brood beneath our
Perish. Oh, that combat mastery buff. Combat mastery is cool. It does kind of take away from like the whole showcase a little bit, but one of the best positive modifiers you can find in this game.
that silence the tuning fire shitty. Hit that artifact with everything we have.
Ow.
Fresh magazine. Wait. Fresh time.
Yeah.
Fail that hope.
Oh, range guys here.
Silence intimidates by city.
A lot of range guys. Lot. How do you spam the shield bash so fast? I have a whole video on that. If you're curious, I did link it in the one thing. The shield bash video I made today.
No foe will pass the Imperial justice. Skitters to the grave, sitting back, ready to deploy. Our glorious battle strengthens now.
Is that a white Templar outfit? You betcha. Still think not having the white Templars in the fist pack is a missed opportunity. Well, that is true. We can pretty easily make them. We can pretty easily make them at least.
We crush the ravenous brood.
Hey, there we go. Got their chapter symbol in game. I just kind of toss on like whatever shoulder they have in this game that isn't like a proper chapter display. So there are a lot of shoulders in Space Marine 2 that don't display your chapter symbol anyways, so that's why I use them for, so we don't have some of the DLC packs yet. Does the One Punch Man build still work? Oh yeah, Block Fist still one-shots everything. Still does. To this day. And probably forever. Let's go kill this guy.
You failed at ultra. Fate.
As if I tried. Not that it would make a dent.
I'm really a fencing Andy, but the block axe buff has changed me. Well, you can still be a fencing Andy with the heroic power fist. Very strong. It's also a pretty fun fencing weapon. I think this might be my favorite power fist, only because it actually does what a power fist is supposed to do, which is use the actual combos of the power fist. Is the heroic fist better on assault than Bulwark? I mean, Bulwark's better with everything. It's an animation cancel. There's not a single melee weapon in this game I'd say is better on assault than Bulwark. Maybe like, maybe in terms of direct damage, but animation canceling is pretty intense.
Keep your heads and get it done.
That's just my opinion. My opinion.
They're on to us.
Alright, that's this guy. Why are the Imperial Fist successors cooler than them? Hold on, I don't think they all are. Wow, that's Roman purpose out there.
Searching round. Our banner awaits the Xenos are forming a pyramid. Ready, sign up for that.
Bonk.
The bulk of the swarm is continuing along the predicted path. Continue holding.
This galaxy's the floor.
Celestial Lions were so cool, they made the Orcs jealous and shot them with snipers. That's true. The only weakness of a Celestial Lion is a sneaky Orc sniper.
Fresh magazine. The fewer psychers you not have, the better. Tyranny. Enemies on our left flank.
Ah, it's a lot of Spore Mines. Yeah, that's where the Neo Volkite performs pretty well. Whoops.
Halfway there, brothers. Keep it up.
More hostiles entering engagement range.
Alright, there we go. This finale is kind of a slog, like once you kill the boss, because not much is actually going to kill you here. Can I do it? All the way over here?
The swarm is almost
That would have been really cool.
Be ready for my mark.
We crush the ravenous beauty. Where shall I guard this man?
A lot of damage. When do you think grabs will be reworked? I have no idea in this game. Knowing Saber, probably next year. Maybe patch 12, probably later.
You are clear to detonate. Cook those rotten bastards.
Understood, Commander. Readying the charge.
Probably even later.
How tyranny is marked. We have laid waste to the enemy. A fine fit.
Tyranid biocides down 90% and fallen. Swarm annihilation confirmed. Excellent work. Move to extract. Thunderbolt arriving at evac point. Wrap down and ready.
Bird at the extraction point. Hurry!
Alright, let's go and assemble. And that was a hard strat with that. That is the heroic power fist build. I wonder how much damage we had. Gunstrike damage is counted as range damage now, so it does show up in the end screen. Wasn't that way for a very long time in the game until like patch 10. Okay. Almost 40,000 damage-ish. Well, over 40,000 damage. Pretty good. 24 Extremis, pretty high in that match.